They had something that was certain, that was consistent, that was familiar, and they threw it away for... You ever have this weird feeling that your ex might be thinking about you? You can't put your finger on it. It's kind of like this sneaking suspicion that someone is thinking about you. They're wanting to reach out to you, but they just simply won't do it. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the thoughts that I have about this. So come take a walk with me. And oh, by the way, I just reactivated my Patreon after 4 years. That link is in the description. Welcome back to the Rebound Journal. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about how, from my experience, I know that your ex is thinking about you, but they're just too stubborn to reach out. If you guys have been following my journey for a while, you know that I've been doing this relationship coaching for a good amount of time. I see a lot of patterns. This is one thing that I know is my truth. When I see a person's patterns, I know that something's going to come that's going to kind of mimic those patterns. So if you get into a relationship with someone and they said, hey, I never had long relationships before, that's a pattern. If they say, no, I always pick flaws in people, that's a pattern. If they're someone that jumped from relationships to relationships, that's also a pattern. So usually when you hear someone say, I'm really bad at texting, right, that's letting you know that my pattern is I have a hard time connecting with people via text message, which means I may be someone that's very distant from you. So when you see a pattern of someone of being stubborn, if they say something like, I never go back to my exes, or if someone breaks up with me, you know, they're pretty much dead to me, that's also a pattern. And for me, that's a really telling pattern on how they're going to start acting and moving after they leave this relationship. Now, there's always reasons for these patterns. I'm not saying that, you know, there can't be good things and good benefits that come from these patterns, because usually when someone wants to hold that no contact and doesn't want to give you the upper hand, it's usually because they feel in control when they are in that no contact. When they're controlling the interaction between you two, meaning they have broken up with you, they've said they wanted no contact or some space, that means that they are in control of the interactions and the level of that relationship. When you accept, you know, all right, let's just give them some space, what you're essentially doing is you're allowing them to put you in a friend zone, and that is not a place that you want to be. What I tell people usually is if they try to put you in a friend zone, you have to stand firm on, I'm not being your friend. That's not what I want. I want romance. I want connection. I want what I came here for to begin with. I met you on Hinge. I don't find friends on Hinge. But getting back to my points here, they want to reach out to you, but they simply don't. A, because they're stubborn, and because they're missing you. But the missing you piece is confusing to them. Why do they miss someone that they broke up with, right? Someone with a high level of emotional intelligence will know why. Because they say, you know, we had a history together. It's familiarity. He's someone or she's someone that I saw myself building a future with. And when things were good, they really were good. But the missing you piece is something that they're really confused about. And usually they don't want to reach out because they don't want to lead you on, because they don't want to have conversations about what they did in that relationship that could have made this relationship better. And sometimes they just feel guilty if they pick someone else, that the relationship that they're in now is probably not something that was as good as yours. They don't want to fess up to that. That's a very humbling thing to do, especially if they got into that relationship out of impulse, out of just kind of feeling annoyed with your relationship and your situation. It's going to make it hard for them to want to break that no contact and reach back out to you, because they don't want to face the pain that they caused. Sure enough, they know that you didn't want a friendship. You didn't want to break up. You wanted to do whatever you needed to do to make this relationship work. You're willing to go to counseling, to therapy, willing to get a different job, to switch shifts. You're willing to do all of that. And they can care less. because the new person that they started dating was promising them everything right now, was promising them the world. You know, it's interesting because I've seen these relationships where your ex may have laid out the blueprint for this new person on how to show up in their relationship. But here's the thing about a blueprint. You're only going to complete that project or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve if you're actually good at it. It can't be a front. You know, it's like someone lying on their job application and saying, oh yeah, I know how to use ChatGPT. I know how to use that. And then they get the job and the person realizes that hired them that this person hasn't really done anything. I haven't even seen them touch ChatGPT. They don't know how to use Microsoft Word. I have to teach them about Outlook. So something tells me that they may have inflated their abilities to show up in this career, just like in relationships. And this is one of the reasons why they get stubborn, because they're like, he told me that this would happen, or she told me that I wasn't ready to be in a relationship, and I try to make it seem like I was, because in that moment I thought I was. So maintaining no contact and being stubborn in this aspect would have to admit that the rebound relationship sucks. I mean, there's no better way to say it. The relationship they're in right now is not something that they're happy with. And they had something that was certain, that was consistent, that was familiar, and they threw it away for something that was temporary and fleeting in feelings. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by the Rebound Journal. If you want to continue this conversation, you can join my Patreon. That link is in the description. And I will see you in the next video.